Commander Olivia Wright stood tall on the gleaming floor of the Galactic Council chamber. The room was huge, with a high ceiling that seemed to reach into space itself. 7 different alien species sat in raised seats that formed a half-circle around her. Their eyes, some glowing, some multicolored, some barely visible, all stared down at her. This was humanity's big moment. After decades of looking up at the stars and wondering, Earth had finally met its galactic neighbors. Olivia had been chosen to speak for all humans, and she felt the weight of that duty on her shoulders. "We come in peace and friendship," she said, her voice clear and steady. "Earth is ready to join the galactic community as an equal partner." A tall, thin alien with pale blue skin and 6 fingers on each hand leaned forward. This was High Chancellor Zell Thorn of the Valyrian Dominion, the leader of the council. "Equal," he said. The translator made his voice sound flat, but Olivia could hear the surprise in it. "Your species has only recently discovered faster-than-light travel. Your technology is primitive. Your understanding of cosmic laws is incomplete." Olivia kept her face neutral, though she felt her cheeks grow warm. "With respect, Chancellor, humanity has made great progress in a short time. We have solved complex progress, yes," interrupted a round alien with orange scales, "but not enough. Young species need guidance, protection." Zell Thorn nodded. "The Council has reviewed your case. Earth will be granted protected species status under the benevolent stewardship of the Valyrian Dominion." Olivia blinked, trying to understand. "Stewardship? I'm not sure I follow." A holographic display appeared in the center of the room. It showed a list of rules and restrictions that made Olivia's stomach sink. Earth ships would not be allowed to travel beyond their solar system without permission. Earth's resources would be managed by Council representatives. Earth's military would be limited to defensive capabilities only, as defined by the Council. "This is not partnership," Olivia said carefully. "This is control." "It is protection," said Zell Thorn. "In time, perhaps centuries, humans may evolve to a level where they can join as full members. Until then, we will guide your development." Olivia stepped closer to the council bench. "I have brought data on human achievements, our advances in medicine, physics, and—" "We have reviewed your data," said a thin alien with silver skin. "It does not change our assessment. I must inform you that Earth will not accept protected status," Olivia said firmly. "We came here to join as equals, not as subjects." The council members looked at each other. Some made sounds that Olivia guessed were laughs. "It is not a request, Commander Wright," said Zell Thorn. "It is how things are done. Every species in this galaxy either sits on the council or accepts the protection of the council. There is no third option." Olivia took a deep breath. "There is always another option." "The vote has been cast," said Zell Thorn, ignoring her words. 7 in favor, none against. Earth is now under Valyrian stewardship, effective immediately. Olivia stood still, her mind racing. This wasn't how first contact was supposed to go. Everything she had been told to expect, mutual respect, cultural exchange, shared knowledge, had been thrown out the window in 10 minutes of conversation. "I understand your position," she said finally, "and I hope you will understand mine. Humanity respectfully declines your generous offer. Any attempt to force this status upon us will be met with resistance." The council chamber went quiet. Then several members began making those laughing sounds again. "No species has ever successfully challenged a council directive," said Zell Thorn. "Not in 12,000 years." Olivia looked directly into his 4 eyes. "Then perhaps it's time for something new." As she walked out of the chamber, Olivia knew that Earth had just made powerful enemies, but she also knew her people. Humans didn't bow easily, and they certainly didn't surrender their freedom without a fight. The Council had made a serious mistake. They would learn soon enough. 6 months passed quickly. Earth had changed in that time. News of the Galactic Council's decision had spread, and humans around the world united in a way they never had before. Old enemies became allies. Nations that once fought each other now work together. Admiral Jack Donovan stood at the large window in Earth's main defense center. He watched the screens that showed 12 large alien ships now in orbit around Earth. The ships were shaped like arrowheads, their hulls gleaming silver against the blackness of space. "Valyrian battleships," said the woman next to him. She was Commander Olivia Wright, recently back from her meeting with the Council. "Twice as big as our largest vessels." Jack nodded, his face calm even though the situation was serious. They didn't waste any time. A young officer ran up to them. "Admiral, we're getting a transmission from the lead ship." "Put it through," Jack said. The main screen lit up. A tall, blue-skinned alien appeared. It was High Chancellor Zell Thorne himself. "People of Earth," he said, his voice translated into flat English. "Your grace period is over. You will now accept Valyrian stewardship as decided by the Galactic Council. Your ships will stand down. Your weapons will be collected. Your resources will be managed for the greater good of the galaxy." Jack stepped forward. "This is Admiral Jack Donovan of Earth's Defense Force. We made our position clear to your council. Earth will not accept subordinate status." Zell Thorne's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "You have no choice, Admiral. My ships carry weapons that could turn your cities to ash. We do not wish to harm humans, but we will if you resist." "We understand," Jack said simply. "We'll need time to inform our world leaders and prepare our people." "You have 24 of your Earth hours," Zell Thorne said. "Then we expect your formal surrender." The screen went dark. Olivia looked at Jack. "That buys us some time." Jack turned to his staff. "Activate Protocol Prometheus. Authorization Donovan, Alpha 7-9. The room burst into activity. Officers rushed to their stations. Screens lit up with new information. Somewhere deep below the building, machines hummed to life. "Will it be enough?" Olivia asked quietly. Jack looked at her. "It has to be." 3 hours later, Jack and Olivia stood in a different room, deep underground. This facility didn't officially exist. It had been built in secret after humans found a crashed alien ship 30 years ago. Dr. Samantha Miller stood next to a large machine. Her glasses reflected the blue light coming from the device. "Is it ready?" Jack asked. Samantha nodded. "We finally solved the energy problem. The shield should work now." She pointed to a display showing a complex pattern of energy waves. "The Valyrians use a specific frequency for their weapons. They think it's unbeatable because it passes through all known shields. But they're wrong." "How can you be sure?" Olivia asked. "Because they follow rules," Samantha said with a small smile. "All council species do. They've been using the same technology for thousands of years, just making it bigger and more powerful. But they never question the basics." She touched the screen, changing the display. "We found a way to bend their energy back on itself. Their weapons will make our shields stronger, not weaker." Jack looked impressed. "And our other projects?" "The Hidden Fleet is ready," Olivia said. "All 50 ships. They're small, but fast, and equipped with the technology we reversed engineered." Jack nodded and looked at his watch. "We have 21 hours until their deadline." "What do we tell them?" asked Samantha. Jack's face was serious. "Nothing yet, but when they call again, I'll say exactly what I'm supposed to." "Which is?" Olivia asked. Jack smiled slightly. "We'll get back to you." Outside, in space, the Valyrian ships waited. They were confident. They had conquered many worlds before. Earth would be no different. They were wrong. The 24 hours passed. Zell Thorne's face appeared on the screen again, looking confident. "Your time is up, Admiral Donovan. We expect your surrender now." Jack stood straight, his hands behind his back. "High Chancellor, we've talked with our leaders. Earth has decided not to surrender." Zell Thorne's blue face darkened. "Then you leave us no choice. We will show you the power of the Valyrian fleet. Perhaps when your major cities lie in ruins, you will be more reasonable." The screen went black. "They're charging weapons," called out an officer. "All 12 ships." Jack turned to Olivia. "Begin defense plan now." Olivia spoke into her communicator. "All stations, activate shields. Launch defense fleet." Around Earth, hidden bases suddenly opened. From the Moon, from Mars, from hidden spots in the asteroid belt, small ships rose. They were not as big as the Valyrian ships, but there were many of them, 50 in all. The Valyrian ships fired their weapons. Bright beams of energy shot toward Earth, but when they hit the atmosphere, something strange happened. The beams seemed to bend and spread out, creating a glowing shield around the planet. In space, Captain Lucas Reed sat in the command chair of the ship named Defiant Asterisk. It was Earth's newest ship, built with technology humans had learned from studying the crashed alien ship. "Their weapons are having no effect," he told his crew. "Dr. Miller's shield is working. Now it's our turn." The 50 Earth ships moved fast, surrounding the larger Valyrian vessels. The Valyrians fired again and again, but their weapons could not break through Earth's new shield. "They're following standard attack pattern," said Lucas's second-in-command, "just like the training simulations said they would." Lucas nodded. "They've been fighting the same way for thousands of years. They never needed to change." The Earth ships fired their own weapons. They were smaller than the Valyrian weapons, but they were aimed carefully at the weak spots of the Valyrian ships. 3 Valyrian ships were damaged, but the others turned their attention to the Earth fleet. The battle became fierce. "Our weapons aren't strong enough against the biggest ships," an officer reported to Lucas. Lucas thought for a moment. "They think they know all the rules of space combat. Let's show them something new." He turned to his chief engineer. "Can we modify our drive systems to create a gravity distortion?" The engineer looked surprised. "That would be extremely dangerous, Captain. It's never been done before." "Can it be done?" Lucas asked again. The engineer nodded slowly. "Yes, but I can't predict what will happen." "Do it," Lucas ordered. The engineer worked quickly. The Defiant Asterisk moved close to the largest Valyrian ship. Then Lucas gave the order. "Activate the modified drive now." The space around the Defiant Asterisk seemed to bend. A wave of distorted gravity spread out from the ship. When it hit the Valyrian vessel, the large ship began to break apart. Torn by forces it was not designed to resist. "It works," shouted the engineer. "But our drive is burning out. We can only do this a few more times." Lucas sent a message to the other Earth ships. "This is Captain Reed. Target the largest enemy ships with gravity distortions." 2 more of Earth's ships copied the Defiance Asterisk tactic. 2 more Valyrian dreadnoughts broke apart in space. After 4 hours of battle, half of the Valyrian fleet was destroyed or badly damaged. The rest pulled back, retreating to a safe distance. Admiral Donovan opened a channel to the remaining Valyrian ships. "High Chancellor, this battle can end now. We will allow your remaining ships to leave in peace if you carry a message back to the Council." There was a long pause before Zelthorn responded. His voice was stiff with anger. "What message?" "Tell them that Earth is not open to stewardship," Jack said calmly. "But we remain open to equal partnership." In space, the remaining Valyrian ships turned and left Earth's solar system. The Battle of Sol was over. Earth had won. News of the Valyrian defeat spread quickly through the galaxy. For the first time in thousands of years, the Galactic Council faced a crisis. A species had not only refused their authority, but had actually won a battle against them. In the Great Council chamber, the 7 council members argued loudly. Their voices echoed off the high ceiling. "This is unprecedented," shouted the representative of the Moraldian hive, their insect-like features clicking with agitation. "No species has ever defeated a Valyrian battle fleet." "The humans used forbidden technology," said Zelthorn, his blue skin now pale with anger. "They bent the laws of gravity in ways that violate Council safety protocols." "But they did it," said the youngest council member. a reptilian being from the Grath Confederacy. Perhaps our protocols need to be reconsidered. Treasonous talk. Zelthorn turned all four of his eyes on the Grath representative. The Council's ways have maintained peace for 12,000 years. Have they? A new voice spoke from the entrance to the chamber. Or have they just maintained control? The Council members turned to see a human woman standing there. It was not Commander Wright, but a new face. She wore a simple blue uniform with a small Earth flag on the shoulder. "I am Ambassador Diana Kelly of Earth," she said, walking forward confidently. "I come to establish a permanent human embassy here." Zelthorn stood up, towering over the human. "You come to apologize for your attack on our fleet." Diana looked up at him calmly. "No, Chancellor. I come to offer a choice: mutual respect or mutual isolation. Earth has no desire for conflict, but we will not accept subordination." "You have violated our most basic protocols," Zelthorn shouted. "Your protocols, not ours," Diana replied. "Earth never agreed to them." The Grath representative leaned forward. "The human has a point. They were not given a fair chance to join as equals." Whispers spread among the other council members. Some seemed angry, but others looked curious. While this meeting took place, another human worked quietly in a different part of the council station. Lieutenant Ryan Martinez moved through the lower levels where the service workers lived. These were members of species that the council had deemed too primitive for full rights, but useful enough to serve. Ryan met in secret with representatives from 3 of these species: the mechanically gifted Tauri, the empathic Lorians, and the crystalline Vex. Earth stood against the council and won. Ryan told them in a small, hidden room. "You can do the same. We offer alliance, not control." "The council has ruled us for generations," said the Tauri representative, her 6-fingered hands moving nervously. "They control our resources, our ships, our future." "That can change," Ryan said. "Earth has technology to share, but more importantly, we have a different way of thinking. The council believes in hierarchy and control. We believe in self-determination." "What is this word?" asked the Vex, light reflecting off their crystalline body. "Self-determination. It means you decide your own future," Ryan explained. "No one else has the right to choose for you." The 3 aliens looked at each other in wonder. This idea was new to them. Dangerous. Exciting. Back in the council chamber, the debate continued. Some council members wanted to assemble an even larger fleet to punish Earth. Others argued for caution. "We should study how they defeated our ships before attacking again," said the representative of the science-focused Zin Collective. Ambassador Kelly listened to them argue. Then she spoke again. "While you debate, Earth extends offers of trade and cultural exchange to any species that wishes for peaceful relations. As equals." The youngest species on the council began to show interest. The oldest looked worried. For the first time, the council's absolute authority was being questioned, not just by humans, but by others as well. A dangerous idea was spreading throughout the galaxy: freedom. 1 month after Earth's victory, High Chancellor Zelthorn called a private meeting. Only the 3 oldest and most powerful council species were invited: the Valurians, the Moraldian Hive, and the Zin Collective. "The human problem grows worse," Zelthorn said, his voice low. "They speak to the younger council races about equality and self-determination. They offer technology and trade without our approval. They must be stopped," agreed the Moraldian representative, a large insect-like being whose black eyes showed no emotion. "But how?" "Our intelligence says their defenses are strong." Zelthorn smiled for the first time in weeks. "Our spies have learned that the human ships were badly damaged in the battle. Their new shield technology used too much power. They cannot maintain it for long. If we attack with all our forces now, they will fall." "Are you certain?" asked the Zin representative, whose body glowed with soft blue light. "Completely certain," said Zelthorn. "The humans have been sending out messages asking for help repairing their fleet. They are weak." What Zelthorn didn't know was that Earth was feeding this information to Council spies on purpose. It was all part of a plan. Meanwhile, on Earth, a meeting of very different kind was taking place. Commander Olivia Wright, now promoted to Fleet Commander, stood before representatives from 12 species. Some were former Council races. Others had been labeled as protected species, like humans. The Coalition of Sovereign Worlds is now official, Olivia announced. All members agree to mutual defense and respect for each other's independence. The Tari representative stepped forward. Thanks to the ship designs Lieutenant Martinez shared with us, we have built 20 new vessels. They are small but powerful. The Lorians have completed the new communication network, said another alien, whose skin shifted colors as he spoke. We can now coordinate our fleets without the Council detecting our signals. Olivia nodded. Our sources say the Council believes we are weak and divided. They plan to attack within days, hoping to catch us unprepared. She touched a control, and a large holographic map appeared, showing star systems throughout the galaxy. Let them come, she said with a small smile. We'll be ready. 3 days later, the largest fleet ever assembled by the Council entered Earth's solar system. 50 massive warships, led by High Chancellor Zelthorn himself, moved toward Earth. Send the message, Zelthorn ordered. Tell the humans to surrender immediately or be destroyed. His communications officer worked at the controls, then looked up in confusion. Chancellor, I'm detecting many ships appearing throughout the system. They're coming out of nowhere. Zelthorn rushed to the viewing screen. All around his fleet, ships were appearing. Not just Earth ships, but vessels of many designs, representing a dozen different species. They all flew the same flag, a circle of stars on a blue field. Impossible, Zelthorn shouted. These species cannot work together. They have never worked together. A transmission came through. On the screen appeared Fleet Commander Olivia Wright, seated in the command chair of Earth's newest flagship. High Chancellor, she said calmly. You seem surprised. What is this? Zelthorn demanded. This is the Sovereignty Coalition, Olivia explained. 12 species who have decided that your time of control is over. You tricked us, Zelthorn said, his voice shaking with anger. You fed us false information. Yes, Olivia admitted. We learned from you. The Council has used deception for thousands of years to keep species divided. We simply use your own tactics against you. She leaned forward. Now, Chancellor, I offer you the same choice you once gave Earth. Peaceful cooperation or devastating defeat. The difference is, we genuinely hope you choose peace. Zelthorn looked at the tactical display. His fleet was completely surrounded by coalition ships. For the first time in his long life, the High Chancellor of the Valurian Dominion felt fear. 2 weeks after the standoff, representatives from both the Galactic Council and the Sovereignty Coalition met on a neutral space station. The station floated in empty space between 2 star systems, belonging to neither side. The meeting room was large and round. The Council members sat on one side, the Coalition on the other. For the first time, in 12,000 years, the Council was forced to negotiate as equals. High Chancellor Zelthorn looked across the table with barely hidden anger. The Coalition had allowed his fleet to return home without a fight. This mercy bothered him more than defeat would have. We are here under protest, Zelthorn began. The Council does not recognize this coalition as legitimate. Dr. William Foster, Earth's chief representative, nodded politely. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes, but his voice was firm. You don't need to recognize us, Chancellor. Reality has already done that for you. The other Council members shifted uncomfortably. They were not used to being spoken to this way. What are your demands? Asked the Zin representative, getting straight to the point. Dr. Foster smiled. We don't have demands. We have proposals for a new relationship between all our peoples. He activated a holographic display. It showed a simple document titled Treaty of Mutual Recognition. First, the Council acknowledges the right of all species to self-determination, Foster explained. Second, the protected status system ends immediately. Third, all species are free to trade and form alliances without Council approval. The Council members looked shocked. The Moraldian representative clicked angrily. You want us to give up all our authority. This is unacceptable. Not all authority, Foster corrected gently. Just the authority you claimed over others without their consent. The Grath representative, who represented the youngest council race, leaned forward with interest. And what would the council's role be in this new arrangement? A respected voice in galactic affairs, Foster said. Your experience and wisdom would be valuable to all, if offered freely rather than forced upon others. A murmur ran through the room. Some council members looked thoughtful. Others looked offended. Zelthorn stood up suddenly. This is absurd. You would undo 12,000 years of order and stability. Was it truly stable? Asked a new voice. It was Amy Bennett, a human linguistic specialist who had been working quietly at a side table. Or was it just enforced? Amy stepped forward and activated another display. It showed a chart of conflicts throughout Council history. Our studies of Council records show over 300 rebellions in 12,000 years. Each one crushed, of course, but they kept happening. That's not stability. That's ongoing resistance. The Council members stared at the data. Many had never seen it presented this way before. Language matters, Amy continued. You call it protection, but the protected species call it control. You say guidance, they hear oppression. True peace can't be built on words that mean different things to different people. For several hours, the discussion continued, sometimes heated, sometimes thoughtful. The younger council races showed more openness to change. The older ones resisted. Behind the scenes, human diplomats worked with representatives from all species. They listened more than they talked. They found common ground where none seemed to exist. By the end of the week, something remarkable had happened. A preliminary agreement was signed. It wasn't everything the coalition had hoped for, but it was a start. The Council agreed to recognize the independence of coalition worlds and end the forced protection system. As the meeting ended, Dr. Foster approached Zelthorn. This could be the beginning of something better for everyone, he said quietly. Zelthorn stared at him. Why didn't you punish us when you had the chance? We would have, in your position. Foster smiled. That's exactly why we didn't. For the first time, doubt crept into Zelthorn's mind. Perhaps the humans were not just lucky rebels. Perhaps they truly had a different way of thinking, one that the Council had never considered before. 5 years passed since Earth's first meeting with the Galactic Council. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. On Earth, a massive new building stood next to the blue waters of the Atlantic Ocean. Its tall glass towers reflected the sun, and its open design welcomed visitors from 100 different worlds. This was the home of the first Galactic Congress. Inside the main hall, representatives from 42 species gathered. Some floated in the air. Some moved on many legs. Some glowed with inner light. And among them walked humans, no longer the newest species in galactic society. Olivia Wright, now Earth's Secretary of Interstellar Relations, watched the gathering with quiet pride. The path to this day had not been easy. There had been more conflicts, more tense moments when war seemed possible. But each time, communication had prevailed over confrontation. An impressive achievement, said a familiar voice behind her. Olivia turned to see High Chancellor Zelthorn. He looked older now, the blue of his skin slightly faded. The Valyrian Dominion was still powerful, but it no longer ruled others without question. Thank you, Chancellor, Olivia said. I'm glad you could attend. I had little choice, he said, but without the anger of years past. The Valyrian people insisted we be part of this new beginning. They walked together to a quiet corner of the hall, away from the crowd. I have wondered something for years, Zelthorn said after a moment. Why did humans fight so hard against council authority? Many other species accepted it as the natural order of things. Olivia considered the question carefully. "Humans don't yield when we believe we're right," she said finally. "Our history is filled with people who stood against overwhelming odds because principles matter more than power. Even when standing means possibly dying." Zelforn asked. "Especially then," Olivia said. "We would rather face extinction than live as anything less than equals." Zelforn was quiet for a long time. "A strange way of thinking," he said at last. "But perhaps not without merit." Their conversation was interrupted by the sound of a bell. The Congress was about to begin. In the center of the hall, Dr. William Foster stood before a simple podium. In front of him was a document, the Galactic Charter of Sovereign Rights. "Today, we begin a new chapter in our shared history," Foster said. His voice carried throughout the hall. "Not as rulers and ruled, but as equals with different gifts to share." One by one, representatives came forward to sign the charter. Old council races signed alongside former protected species. The Tauri, with their mechanical brilliance. The Lorians, with their empathic abilities. The Vex, with their crystal minds. Even newly discovered species, who would never know the old system of forced protection. When Zelforn's turn came, he paused before signing. He looked at the humans, at the coalition members, and finally at his fellow council representatives. "For 12,000 years, we believed our way was the only way," he said. "We were wrong." Then he signed. Later, as the celebration began, Olivia stood by a large window looking at the stars. She thought about the day she had stood before the council and refused their demands, about how close they had come to war, about all that had changed. A young diplomat from a newly discovered species approached her. "Is it true?" he asked with wide eyes. "Did your people really stand alone against the council?" Olivia smiled. "We stood for principles. And in the end, we found we weren't alone at all." Outside, ships from dozens of worlds orbited Earth peacefully. Trade routes now connected formerly isolated planets. Knowledge flowed freely where once it had been controlled. The Galactic Council had asserted human subordination. Their regretted doing so had transformed the galaxy. And somewhere out among the stars, other species were discovering that they too could choose their own path in a new age of freedom that had begun with a single word.